Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, and we're getting the most horsepower out of this naturally aspirated V16 engine. This is the final V engine in the Aspirated update of Automation's version 4.3 that I'm covering. So first things first, to get the V16 engine in this game is you must have the Supporters Pack V16 Engines DLC already installed on your computer from the Automation Games Steam page, which is a $10 DLC. Assuming you do have the DLC already installed, the first thing we do before getting to the engine build is you go to the top left portion of your screen and set the engine family year to 2020, the most you can do in this game as of right now. And after selecting the V90 V16 engine configuration, you must choose the aluminum silicon heavy block material because it's the best in terms of power density and the ability to upboard the engine as much as possible, which we'll see later. And for the bore and the stroke, first of all, the bore is you upboard this as much as possible to 120 millimeters, and going over to the stroke is you increase this by a little bit to 91.2 millimeters, which gets the family capacity at 16,503 cubic centimeters or 16.5 liters. And for the heads right next to this is we're choosing a dual overhead cam 5 valves per cylinder, which totals up to 80 valves in total. With the head material, aluminum silicon it is. With the quality slider, like everything if you do see a quality slider, maxed out to a plus 15, and right beside the quality slider with the sandbox tech pool, you click on this to bring up this window here. And we bring everything to a plus 15, starting with the engine in general, then on over to the bottom end, the top end. You may do the turbocharger, but it's up to you because it's not needed for the video. You do plus 15 for the fuel system and for the exhaust. After you got the engine tech set to this level or just flat out maxed out to a plus 15, click on apply changes and we'll get on over to the bottom end of the engine. So like I mentioned about the upboard part, under the variant capacity is you upboard the engine by sliding this bad boy all the way up to increase by 4 millimeters to get it to 124 millimeters for the new bore to get the true engine size of 17,622 cubic centimeters or 17.6 liters for the true engine size. The crank count rods and pistons with the rest of the engine is we were choosing a billet steel crankshaft with titanium con rods and the pistons made out of forged heavy with a harmonic damper implemented with the counterweight slider set all the way up to 100, which is over 128.1 pounds of the counterweight. The compression and everything with the top end, as per usual, 16.0 to 1 ratio in extreme level, cam profile at 100, which is a full-blown racing setting. The springs and lifters, like the rest of the engines if you've been following along with this series, set to a 59 with VVT at all cams, with the RPM set to 8400 RPM. And we skipped the turbocharger because it's a naturally aspirated build, so for the fuel system, as per usual, a direct injection throttle per cylinder racing intake manifold, with the manifold size set at a large boy of a 93. With the fuel type, good old nitromethane, aka the top fuel dragster type of fuel at 127 AKI. With the ignition timing margin right below this, is you advance it as much as possible by setting it all the way down to the left at a negative 5.0 like the freaking Mustang 5.0. The fuel mapping set this down quite a bit to the lean setting at a 30. And finally, for the headers with the exhaust and everything, is we'll be choosing a tubular racing header with a single exhaust. Well, first, 85 for the header size, and then the exhaust is a single exhaust with its diameter set to 152 millimeters, or exactly 6 inches. With no cats and no mufflers, and bring up the quality. And we get the horsepower rating of 7,651.3 horsepower at 8,400 RPM, of a torque rating of 4,783.7 pounds-feet of torque at 8,400 RPM. So with the torque rating here, this number pretty much is like reminding me of my very, very first UE4, like most powerful engine I made like, 3 or 4 years ago on the original UE4 version of the game. And more about this engine, while this engine has a 96% stress reliability reduction for the con rods, it does work in automation and BMG drive, but if it were to increase the RPM by just 8,500 RPM by just a little bit, while it's more powerful, but the engine will fail as we see here because the con rods have failed due to excessive RPM, which will make this engine record invalid because of the engine breaking down. And for this part of the video, I'll give you a pull test to give you a here of this engine with the engine stripped apart, and instead of doing the fake gear shifts like I've been doing because of how the new dyno screen is set up with this version of the game, I'll probably find a car, slap this engine onto a car, and do like a lap around a track, and probably end it from there. So first things first, pull the engine apart and do a pull test right now, and then find a car to put the engine in it, and do a lap with that. Okay then? Boy, this car is broken that we got a freaking time of about 39 seconds around the top gear track with over 3.2 G's of steering. Jesus Christ, is this a Formula 1 car or what? So with this 17.6 liter V16, you're going to be having some time finding a car body to use this powerful engine. It's got excellent throttle response and tons of horsepower, making over 7,600 horsepower, but you'll be getting some of that wheel spin when you fit this engine on a car to be driven in BeamNG. So that'll do it with Automation, the Car Company Tycoon Games version 4.3. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.